Don't stop. Yeah, that's enough of that. So, good morning all. Welcome to my trading. Little issues with the audio. I'll try and get them fixed during the session. If you're getting lots of clicking, it's my mouse and me. Anyway, welcome back to my trading face for radio and a voice for silent film. We're looking at four things today. First one will be natural gas. Obviously, we've been bouncing around for what seems like an eternity. We took full profits on the last trade. Partial profits on the last trade up there, and then came back out thinking it might bounce off this resistance. Was support. It didn't, so we took the rest of the profits down here, and it's just been faffing around. It's trying to push through this resistance, and that might become an area for a trade if it holds above here and breaks above this wick. Let me put where's my 11 o'clock? 11:30. Let's go for 11:30. So if we break above and hold above this line at or before 11:30, that'll be a good area for me to go long. If it doesn't, if it breaks below this support slash resistance, excuse me, then I'll be looking for short opportunities. On the pound euro, not that this is a new one, but this is one that has fared very well in the past. We did get a entry signal to go long, but we were a bit in bed, so I'm not taking it whilst I'm in bed. Have to give me 2 seconds if anyone's actually watching or listening. Just got to go and sort out the front door. Back in a minute.
Don't stop.
Okay, I'm back again. I tell you what, the difficult thing about day trading, or trading in general, as a retail trader, is family. Not that they get in the way, but they do make it slightly more difficult. Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah. So, pound euro, we were given a entry signal, but I'm in bed. I'm not going to take it. So I would expect this market to go down for now. Excuse me, got a bit of a coughing fit going on there. I think I need some kebab juice to help out with that. And I'm expecting it to go down. Not that I'm predicting. I don't predict the market. I don't predict the move. But I'm expecting it because, yes, whilst it did break through this weekly support, it also came rocketing back down and even made lower lows. It came up and touched it. It did breach it ever so slightly, but then it just came back down again. And now we're looking for another touch. There's no trend line analysis that I'm doing. It's just off of this weekly support and resistance. I would imagine that it would need to break below this 1 hour resistance in order for it to, and that was set, ages ago, in order for it to be a valid signal south for me, having not taken the signal that was shown this morning, or very early hours. But then again, it might prove me wrong, and it might just rocket on up. So let's have a quick look at the daily. The daily is strong, a big strong move up, but with some very convincing wicks to the north, but also some very equally convincing wicks to the south. So I don't even think it knows what it wants to do. I would imagine that if it were to break this weekly resistance of 11,580, then it would probably just rocket on up to 11,763. But I'm not here to predict. I just take every signal that is shown at me. So yeah, look at that, 11,500. So if this support resistance holds, which it looks like it might not now. If the daily pivot is broken, it can make its way to R1 on the daily, which it touched excellently on this candle at 10 o'clock yesterday morning. We'll see. But if it's not held and it falls over, the next place to get to is that 11,500 that we can see on the 15 minute. So I'll come back to that in a minute or two. Then we've got Brent crude. This has been a cow, pretty much. There was a convincing breakout at 6 o'clock last night. I wasn't able to take that trade. I wasn't able to be here. It's got 3 confluences for me, and my strategy told me to go long. So I would say that if I was in that trade, I'd still be long on that trade. However, there's no entry or exit signal yet, so I can't jump on that bandwagon and go chasing trades. And the DAX, the lovely DAX. So let's go up to the hourly. On the hourly, we had a couple of areas of interest. This one here at 12,602. Let's call that 12,600, round number. People love it. If we get down to the 12,600 mark by 11 o'clock, 11:30, I can't do it, so let me go down to the 15 minute. Oh no, are you gimp? Delete. So yeah, 11:30. Here we go. If we get down to 600, Boom, by 11:30, and then have a reversal candle and an entry long. Then I'll be taking the long. Failing that, it'll be a convincing short that I'll be looking for. And if it were to break these lows or this 600 level, I'm looking for at least 12,524, maybe even 500, down to support at 483. So we'll leave it on the hourly for now. So I'm going to jump back into family mode and sort out some things that need sorting out. And I'll be back up as soon as I can. If you have got any questions or anything, just pop it in the chat. I can see the chat when I'm in this mode. I've got a couple of screens, and the live session and chat is on one screen. Let me just see if that's still working. There it is. I would suggest maybe turning the volume down on your YouTube thingy to half, maybe. Mine's quite loud. I can't turn my microphone down any lower. It's a condensing studio mic, and I haven't figured out exactly how to do the settings on the audio as yet. But you know, we're growing, we're evolving. We'll get there soon. So I'm going to give you some more of this royalty-free music to chill out to. Let me stick that onto the 15 actually, so we can see if it touches that spot. And that one has broken through. May look it along in a minute. Yeah, I might just go and look at along. Yeah, have a listen to some music, people. I'm just ready to hit the submit button for placing my order, and this little red candle is pushing further down, so I'll either get a better entry or it won't trigger me in. So we'll see what happens. I'm thinking it's going to take me in. Okay, we have set the order. Doesn't mean I'm in. It means the price has got to come back up to 11,590. Yes, there's a bit of resistance at 11,600, and there could be an issue breaking through the 11,600 mark. But if that is the case, then that's the case. It's no biggie. You have to do the same thing each time consistently, in order to make some money. So I'm going to leave that running. I'll go sort some family stuff out, and I shall be back with you shortly. See you in a minute.
don't stop.
Yeah, that's enough of that. Let's turn it down a bit. Right, I'm back, people. We have missed that 600 touch. It came quite close, reversed, and now it's on its way back up again. So we could be in line for an entry soon. The pound euro hasn't triggered. Let me just turn that off. That's better. Yeah, it hasn't triggered yet, and if price breaches below where my stop would be, I'll cancel the order anyway. So not a huge amount going on. To be fair, we were looking at some other bits and bobs as well. Excuse me, some companies. Not that anyone is watching, but if anyone is watching and you want to go through a certain forex pair or company, or go over anything, just give me a shout in the chat, and I'll be more happy to take a look at it for us. Whilst we're doing that, let me open up my £1,000 account. Trading spreadsheet. Here we go. So I need to update this. We closed that one and only open natural gas trade. Let me. So that was 12,649.5. So 12,649.5. It closed up. So that was minus 7.5. I don't think that's true. Can't be. No, it can't be. No. Let me work this out. I know. I said I'd try and sort out the tunes for today, but I've had lots of family things, so have another listen to the upbeat royalty-free music and see where it takes us. I'll be back in a couple of seconds. Yep, no, that was right. My tired mind not comprehending. So with how many trades I got? So basically, if it's got the same letter next to it, it's the same trade. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So out of 5 trades, we've made 11.15% on the profit, and 0.85 risk reward ratio so far. 557 is going to each of the charities, and if we take a quick look at the graph, we can see that it's a slight up from previous, a little bit down only because of that small loss we had earlier, but in general it's on its way up. So now we just need a big we need this trade, or a couple of trades, to go in our favour. This pound euro looks to be turning around, might even take us in. It could take us in, then go straight back against us. If we move out of the way, if we look at blimey, my fingers aren't working today. We look at the day trade. The day. It does look as though it wants to move down. There's no indication that it wants to move up. When you look at these big wicks, that tells us one thing. On the hourly, however, we do have these highs around 11,621, and if we do get triggered in, which I might actually cancel in a minute. If we do get triggered in, then I'll probably be looking to take partial profits, that is around 11,628 or 11,621. Yes, we could make it up to 11,661, but it's not the amount of money, it's the process, it's the thought process, it's working it through. Yes, you have to give trades time, but these are now telling me that this is no longer a valid entry on the hourly. And on the 15-minute, we've got conflicting reports. We've got a big wick to the downside on this. We've got a rather large down candle, then we've got a massive wick to the downside on the 8:45 candle. This one's only got 10 minutes or so to go until the end of this candle, so we might wait and see what happens on this candle. If we're not in, I would imagine by 9:30, 9:45, there's not enough volatility. What we need for entering and exiting trades is this kind of volatility where you get triggered in and it just moves, and it moves to a certain point, which could be, whatever you've set it at, and then hopefully you get triggered in or you get taken out on your targets. But we're just going to follow the system and see where that takes us. At the minute we've got a lower high, so a breach of this high, close above, open above, would indicate that it is going to go higher. That just isn't part of this strategy. Say this strategy, to build up £1,000 account, you need to follow your strategy with conviction, and you need to do it consistently. I know I've waffled on about this for a while on several videos, but it's not the fact that you may or may not be making money. That's not the point. It's the fact that you followed your strategy and your rules. And for a small account, I was telling a chap called Ron, and there's another guy called Not Ron. Well, he's not called Not Ron, but he doesn't want me to say his name. So another guy, Not Ron, there's a couple of others as well. They're wondering how they can build their small account up. And I had to retrain my head. I had to rethink about things for a small account. On my other account, say other account, I have a couple. On my larger account, I follow one strategy. I do it consistently and with conviction all the time. I just let them run. So, for instance, if I was in this trade, where would that have been? Miles away. All right, so here we go. If I'd gotten on this trade on my larger account, I would have just let it run, and I probably would still be in it now. and I wouldn't have exited until I got an exit signal. Whereas with a smaller account, with only £1,000, you need to take profit where profit is offered. So if I go to a location where I would have been entered in, so I would have probably been entered into a trade around about here, and that would have been a losing trade, but my stop would have been down here, and these candles would have taken it out. So that would have been a losing trade. It would have taken me out at 1 o'clock or 1:15 yesterday afternoon. And now it's just one of those ones where we need to follow the trade but take profit where profit is offered. If I set it to a 1-to-1 risk reward, or if I set it so that I want to get a certain amount of percentage back, not points, not money. We don't talk about it in monetary terms. Then I take that profit, and I normally, for a small account, I would take partial profits, which is around 70 or 75% of the current risk on trade. Excuse me, and I let the rest run. You never know when the next 1,000 point, 800 point run will come from. So you need to take all trades that are offered to you. But the downside is, if you can call it a downside, with a small account, you can't just go on every trade. If there was 4 different entry signals, either long or short, makes no difference. I can't take them all. I have to pick and choose, because at the minute my margin for the pound euro trade, that's not even triggered, but I need the margin in there just in case, is, well, overwhelming. Let me see what that would be. If I go in there for that's £385 on a margin, not including the £50 stop that's in there. So if and when this gets triggered, that's over £400 tied up in the account just to take that one trade. And yes, there aren't any other trades on, but if I wanted to go onto the DAX, for instance, let me go onto the Germany 30, and I want to buy it, that's another £316. So I don't have enough money to put on the 2 trades. So if this DAX trade were to give me an entry signal, and just in case you were wondering what that entry signal might be, it would be a break of this candle here, predominantly higher than the pivot. So a break above, close above, open above, will be a momentum trade, and I'd be setting my targets at around the hourly for firsts, and my stop would be below the 12,600. So I'd need that to get in around the pivot to give me at least a 1-to-1 risk reward. But if I want to take that trade, I have to cancel this trade. So if I get triggered into this trade, I don't have enough money on the margin side to place on a trade. Yes, you've got the money in the account. Yes, you will only lose 50 quid on the pound euro, but that's not the point. Your broker doesn't say, oh, it's okay, he's only going to lose 50 quid on that. They now, because of certain rules, have to make sure, which is why all the margins have increased and the percentage risk has decreased and your leverage amount has decreased. They have to ensure that you're not going to put on too many trades. And it's a personable thing. You know, if people can't manage their own monetary lives, then why should it be down to the broker? That's one argument. In fact, that's my argument. Don't force a company that I just use as a broker to manage or help me manage my money. If I can't manage my money myself, then that's down to me. Anyway, enough moaning on. So because of the margin requirements, you have to have enough margin in to cover the loss of your trade. And I don't just mean the 50 quid. Don't just mean the £50 that's been put, or that you're risking on the trade. The margin for this, as we said, was £380 odd. The margin for the DAX trade is £316, I think it was. So combined, that's over £700 when you look at the margin and the stop that you'll be using. So in a small account, let's drag this over. In a small account, £700 would mean that if it were to all go wrong, if the markets were to crash suddenly, or if a big whale came in and made such a splash that the pound took you in and then dumped and went rocketing down, which the brokers have no effect on. It's just the way the market is. You could be looking at least your margin to go. So if all of your margin for the pound euro went and all of your margin for the DAX went, you are only left with a couple of £100 in your trading account. That's ridiculous, isn't it? And that's probably some of the stuff that most people, certainly Instagram traders, don't tell you. You could lose more than your initial deposit, and you could lose more than your initial risk. There's a very real risk that I could lose more than that £50, and indeed I might lose all of the deposit margin. So it's not as if we just go on every trade, on every signal. We have to pick and choose. And this one's set up first, so this one gets priority. Not that it's going to make me more money or less, it's just the way that it is. I'm going to down at the 5 minute. I think this might be up for a retracement, if I'm honest. I don't think it's going to take me in. And I'll say that because this being the low of the day so far, this being the high of the day so far, before I do it, if it's breached the 68% retracement level, I might get myself out. So it has. It's 61.8. It's well and truly breached that. So that is a indication for me that it wants to go lower. We'll see what this candle and the next candle does on the 5 minute. Or I could just move my stop above the 600, because 600 is such a powerful number. And it's been lots of, after a big up move, there's been lots of movement around this weekly resistance. Not a huge amount around the 600, but even with the 600, it's popped up 60 points once it's touched it. So a little bit apprehensive about this, but the strategy is the strategy. You never know. If I had faffed at this level, then there wouldn't have been, not thought about it, there could have been a massive move up. We could still move to the weekly highs at 11,766. Excuse me, you never know. And on the hourly, it looks as though it's moving on up. Moving on up. I don't know who's saying that. I'm not that brainy. But on the daily, it's showing us these massive wicks that it doesn't want to go up, that sellers have come in and pushed it back down again. Doesn't mean that's where it's going to go. The market is the market, and it will do what it's going to do. That's just a very big move down with a slow slog up. It wouldn't surprise me if it took us in and then moved back down to these monthly lows and then pushed back up again. But we will we'll keep on having a look on this 5 minute. Let me zoom in a bit. Actually go to 25, and we'll keep an eye on that. If it stalls, falters around this line, then I'll probably cancel this trade anyway. You watch, it'll push all the way through, take me in, and then pop back down again. If it does, that's just the way it goes. whilst I'm waiting for that to happen, I'll populate my spreadsheet. So, other set 11,590. Very long. 11,540. Yeah, so done. No, it's not gonna. It wants to push up and take me in, doesn't it? Let me just look on my other brokers. What are they offering? Okay. Yeah, there's some major resistance up there, that line. I might cancel that, and then if it breaks above the 11,600 mark, we'll go back in again. Or then again, I might just leave it. See, here's the dilemma. With a small account, you worry that you're going to lose the money. You worry about the money. You think, oh God, I can't afford to lose that cash. And I'm getting my mindset back into that, even though it is only £1,000 account. My mind, it just is turning back into that, and that's the wrong thing for my head to do. It's ridiculous. But anyway, I'll probably I'll probably leave it. The thing that's in its favour is when you have a lower low and then a lower high, but then a higher low, it does indicate that it's about to swing around and come up. That doesn't mean anything, because it could just take me in, go up a little bit, show me a little bit of profit, then come back down again and take me out on my stop, or bounce around a bit, shoot up and go up to the 1 hourly resistance. Or it might just touch it, take me in, and then zoom back down again to the hourly resistance at the bottom. It's one of those what's the word? It's one of those trades where you think, yeah, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? But you've got to follow your system. If your system says in, then get in. If your system says get out, then get out. My system has said in, so we'll just do that. I think I might move my my entry up ever so slightly. Let's have a look. See, it would be. That's ridiculous. It's been 9. Yeah, that is really close to the 11,600. Check me out. I'm in RN. Just get it done. We'll just leave it. We'll leave it on. So, natural gas gave us an in a while ago. If you look at the daily to me looks as though it's going to fall over. Someone at the door, please excuse me for 2 seconds. Kebab delivery, right on time. Where was I? Yeah, so on the daily for natural gas, it's not giving me a signal to get in. It does look as though it's going to fall over, purely because of this monthly resistance. It would need to break above the monthly resistance and hold like it did here. So that's a gap up. It broke above, but then this one rocketed. As soon as it comes back down again, that's a good place to get in. You wouldn't know where to take your profits, but that's the game we play when we're day trading. It's fraught with losses. On the 15-minute, there's no entry signal in sight. There hasn't been for some time, so we're going to wait for that to show us any kind of entry signal. I'm in to the pound euro, and with the DAX, that has or is showing us it might do, in fact, breach above. And if it does, unfortunately, there's no chance of me being able to get into that. No. On the DAX, no, I haven't got anywhere near enough funds for that, not margin-wise anyway. So we'll. The only one we've got on then is the pound euro. We'll let that play out and see where it takes us. I've set my profits up at 11,760 purely because it's where the 1 hour resistance is. It's also where R1 daily is. If we look at a fib, this is probably going to go against us, I would have imagined. If we always say that, then you can't be too disappointed. But take the high of there, the low of here, a 50% retracement. It's gone past that, but it's also not breached the 61.8. 61.8 would say that it's about to continue on in that direction, which is why when we did the low of the day to the high of the day, it had breached the 61. That's why it was more likely that it was going to continue down south. But we follow, or I'll now follow the strategy and do whatever the strategy tells me to do. Let me set an alarm. Oh yeah. Whilst I'm setting an alarm, have a quick look at this. Hold on a minute. Wrong button. Enough of that. I know that's annoying, but I do it because it annoys me, not because I want it to annoy you. Just set myself an alarm down at these lows here. Not because I can get out before my stop, but because if price does come down and just wick into this, I can look at whether it's a positive or a negative, or could have a positive or negative effect on the trade. So I'm going to leave this to it because there is literally no one watching, which I'm a little bit disappointed about. Although I haven't really marketed this channel as yet, I'm probably going to close the stream at around 9:45, and then throw myself onto Twitch, and in that time I'll probably go searching for some more copyright free music as well for me to mess about with. So yeah, if you don't hear from me again, thanks for watching, if anyone is, and if you're watching this back in the future, just have a quick look at where we got in. That was 9:15. In fact, let me annotate the chart. There's a company called Trading Plus. Go check them out. But I was watching them several times. I've watched them actually. And one of the really good things that I've taken away from them is that they annotate their charts. They put way more information than I do, but they put information on their charts, not just for them, because they send their charts out to Telegram groups, off to Discords, and all sorts of stuff, the Twitter and all that. So without having to then type a big long message, it's already on the chart. That's great. But also for the trader themselves, they can see what they did, when they did it, why they did it, how they did it, what they were thinking at the time. So I now annotate charts, be it if I remember to do it live or not is a different matter, but I do annotate the charts. So what would this would be a long where's my entry? So this is the 18, 10, 19, 11, 590, 1 point, stop was entry, stop loss is 11,540, TP, which is take profit. No idea. Boom. Let me move that to here. So I'll leave my take profit up there. I'm saying take profit, no idea, because this will move. If I move my stop up, then this will move, or I'll take partial profits at that point. So I can just close that limit, take partial profits whenever, and then let the rest run if it gets there. If it gets there. So I'm probably going to leave this on for the next 10 minutes, and then I'll jump over onto Twitch. If you are interested in that, if you fancy coming to watch me do some of this on Twitch, and it's a very different animal on Twitch. If you haven't watched a Twitch stream of anyone's before, it's very different. Don't have your kids around at the same time. Don't have it on the big TV downstairs. Don't stream it. Not stream it. Don't link your monitor to a big telly where everybody can see it. Well, see it is fine, but hearing it is not good. There's a little bit of profanity. We whinge on and moan about certain things in life, and it's a more relaxed atmosphere over on Twitch. So if you haven't already, please pop yourself onto Twitch. Just search for Mad Trading, and you'll find me, Mad Trader, and I'll be doing lots of weird stuff. And don't forget that a portion of all profits from the trades goes to charity. And I know that sounds like a bit of a weird thing to do or say, but I've been doing it for a while now. Excuse me. Oh, my feet are tingling. I've been doing it for a while. Pretty much, it's my way of saying thank you to whoever it is that has allowed me to see the error of my ways and turn into a profitable trader. I give to 2 charities. So for this £1,000 account that I'm slowly building up, at the end of a couple of months, or whenever because it's mainly on the stream on Twitch, whenever the community within Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or Twitch decide, that's when I'll restart the fund account, and whatever was in the charity donation box gets sent off to those 2 charities. You can donate to the charities yourself, or you can help them even more by donating to the charity trading fund, which is over on Twitch. Whatever money is put into the charity trading fund is put into this pot of cash, and yes, it helps to increase the amount that's in the £1,000 account. But if you were doing this yourself, if you were doing £1,000 account and trying to build it up, you wouldn't leave it at £1,000. You would add money as and when you had the option to do that. So if you'd done some overtime and you made, you know, a couple of quid, you could, if it were part of your psyche, you could say, do you know what, I'm going to bung 20, 30, 50, 100, whatever pound into this account, and that'll give me more money, or that'll give you more money to trade with. Remember, it's a percentage of your entire account that you have to put on until you get to a certain amount, and then, you know, we can talk about larger accounts way down the line. Give it a few years when this is massive, and we can talk about how to deal with large accounts and what percentage to use back when we get there. So for now, I'm gonna leave I'll leave this trade on. Hopefully I won't regret it. No, I don't regret any trades. But I'm gonna leave this trade on for everyone to see, and I'll come back to it around about 1:45, so in 10 minutes or so. Turn this stream off, then jump on to Twitch. So anyone that is watching, thanks for watching, and I'm going to leave you with some more of this beautiful copyright-free music. Stay soft and salty, people. Okay, so not a huge amount happening. Not a massive trade, obviously, but you have to give trades time. You've got to manage your money, which is why we're not on 2 or 3 trades at the same time, and you need to be consistent. This will be showcased. Will be on Twitch. Pop across Twitch. Just search for Mad Trading. You can't miss it. It's exactly the same logo and icon. And jump on. We'll be there from about 10 o'clock onwards, and you better see how this trade has fared, as it were. Thanks to anyone that's been watching live, and thanks to anyone that's been watching this in the future. I've got to do it. I've got to do it. It is annoying, I know. It's one of those tunes that just sits in your head. It's doing my nutting. I can't get. I go to sleep thinking about this tune. It's called Elevator Music. It's copyright free. Oh yeah, it's kind of like a spacey, science fiction-y thing going on. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching. Couldn't give a monkeys about the rest of it. Learn something, don't learn something, entirely up to you. As long as you don't try and blame me, Mad Trader, for any losses that you might incur through trading, then that's fine. You gotta realise that you will always have losses. But then again, if you have the right strategy, you will always have winners too. Stay salty, and don't forget. Bye.